would like to have some, I don't think we ever met in person, so Craig, if you want to say a word, appreciate it.
We're very honored to have Senator from Rio Rancho State, Senator Craig Brandt, who's a dear friend of Israel and always on the floor, always speaks about Israel, quotes something about Israel, making sure that the Senate remembers and the legislature remember about Israel. And we arranged for him to go to Israel a couple of months ago. So tell us, thank you so much for coming today.
Bravo, bravo!
Thank you, Rabbi. The Rabbi and I have become very good friends over the last year. I don't know, we probably talk or text almost every day, with the exception of the Sabbath, of course, so, which he had to teach me about, because as a Baptist pastor, I kind of neglected that part, right? And so I'm learning, and he's become my rabbi, and I just appreciate everything he's done. He recommended for me to go to Israel with the Consulate General out of Houston. I got to go to Israel in December, and we were only there for 4 days, but it really did change my life. And I'm looking forward to going back at least twice this year. Once just on a vacation with my wife, because she's never been to Israel, and then another time on another diplomatic trip. I'm working with several companies there, trying to bring more connection between New Mexico and Israel here. So several companies that are interested in coming here, including water desalination. Of course, we need water. And so we're trying to bring IDE into New Mexico. And actually our governor's office, the one thing we can really agree on is that she actually supports Israel as well. And so I really appreciate that. You know, one of the things that struck me is you could not go anywhere in Israel. I don't know if any of you have been there since the attacks, but you couldn't go anywhere in Israel without seeing the faces of those who are hostages. And the other thing that really struck me while I was in Israel is how many people just kind of stopped me and said, "Are you from America?" And I said, "Yes, I guess I have that American look." They said, "Thank you so much for coming to Israel. You're our only friends in the world." And I think that we need to remember, us that are not part of the Jewish community, that we as Americans are Israel's true friends and we are their true allies. And we must stand with them just as they have stood with us through our bad times. And us in the Christian community, we all worship the same God. We need to stand together. I stand with you as my Jewish brothers and sisters, and I know that you stand with me when I'm going through things. And so I appreciate that. I will say from the legislature, I guess it's 2 weeks ago now, we started a Friends of Israel caucus. It's the first one in Southwest America, where we are meeting together, talking about the issues of Israel. We're also running a bill right now to put the international definition of anti-Semitism into our law.
Woo, thank you.
Because right now we really don't have to have anything to go after the universities when they allow. Yes, and we're taking that executive order, putting it into law because she only has 2 years left. So we want to make sure that it stays, although the universities have pretty much ignored the executive order. So by us putting it into law, it has the effect of law. So when Jewish students are being attacked at universities, they can now sue if this becomes law. They'll be able to sue under our Civil Rights Act. And a few years ago, the legislature made that lawsuit a minimum of $500,000. So that, I think, will get the university's attention. And so that's one of the things we're doing. I've just been shocked at how God has worked. I get phone calls at least 2 or 3 times a week from all over America where people are reaching out and saying, "I hear you're doing this in New Mexico. How can we help?" And so it's exciting to see. It's exciting to see what God is doing. I was excited to see what God was doing in Israel and how God was protecting Israel. One of the places we went was Kibbutz Nir Oz, which was one of the most hard-hit kibbutz in Israel. 600 terrorists hit that one kibbutz, and they had 2 guns in the kibbutz. 400 people. Out of that 400 people, over 100 of them were either killed or taken hostage. And one of the pictures I have that I showed this gentleman a little earlier was of a young girl's room where all they have done in that kibbutz is remove the bodies. The blood of that young girl is still all over her wall with her hand coming down. And it was at that moment that I realized how horrible humanity can be. How can you execute a young girl like that? And so that changed me. It broke my heart. And so I hope that I can stand with you and that we can stand together and that we can support our brothers and sisters in Israel. And the one thing that everyone in our caucus believes is that Israel has a right to exist as a country. That's the land that God gave them. And God's promise is going to be fulfilled one day completely. So, thank
Amen,
you, Rabbi,
amen.
for allowing me
Thank
to
you.
speak.
Thank you for coming. We really appreciate your support.